For life, for life.
I was watching a clip from the Dutch Mantel podcast this morning, and the host brought up Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard being flabbergasted that during both of their times in All Elite Wrestling, not a single person came up to either one of them to ask for advice on anything. The host mentioned he has it on good authority that they're not the only two legends that have never been asked about anything, but he chooses not to go into who those two are, or may be when Dutch asks. He may be referring to the same two that Stevie Richards noted a week or two ago, if you saw that during his guest spot on Cafe de Rene with Rene Dupree. Stevie, in that episode of Cafe de Rene, claimed that after his YouTube video that went viral criticizing AEW and everyone there for the repeated botched tombstones on Jon Moxley and how everything was handled, two AEW road agents contacted him to let him know that they try to give advice, but nobody there will listen. But if these are another two legends that the host here on Dutch's show is talking about, well then, my God, man. You know, Dutch goes on to talk about how back in his day, you had to introduce yourself and shake the hands of veterans. But he hears that nowadays these kids don't even do that. Which in itself is the only red flag that we need, I guess. Now, I know it takes a huge ego to get into the professional wrestling business in the first place. To think that you can not only make it in such a cutthroat and competitive business, but to be the best, and you gotta think that you're the best to ever come even close to it. It takes a hell of an ego, right? But for your ego to be so strong and your sense of respect and thankfulness to those who came before you and paved the way so weak is really saying something. To not even care enough to walk up to literal legends in your field and introduce yourself and shake their hands. What do they expect? Everyone to walk up to them and introduce themselves? You know who guys like Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, Jerry Lynn, and William Regal are if you're in this business. And if you don't know who they are, you probably shouldn't be in this business. There's no need for them to introduce themselves to you, you dipshits. With all these recent revelations about the conduct backstage and the madhouse that is tonykhan's personal, real-life wrestler toy box called AEW, it seems to be about on par with how their owner acts, although he's quick to shake hands, hug, and probably even try to kiss them. It's clear now why the product is such a disaster. It's clear to see that the inmates run the asylum as long as their hugs are tight and long enough for TK, and they can do whatever they want. So they can proceed to ignore veterans that built the business, veterans that performed while the business was at all-time highs, and our vast wealths of knowledge. Veterans that left them a professional wrestling business flourishing and not on life support like it is now. And just go out there and perform my art, bro, and just have fun and get 20 imaginary stars from that moron Dave Meltzer, who's also being exposed for the fraud that he is, by the way. Keep doing your art, guys, and keep thinking you're all the best there ever was, and you don't need to change a thing because you've got it figured out. Meanwhile, the fans online, the ratings, the attendance, countless legends in the business all tell you that you're delusional. Until you completely kill the professional wrestling business, your images, and any chance you have of making money after your body gives out on you at 40-something years old from all the idiotic spots because you don't listen. It's your call, AEW Locker Room.